Alright, let's look at Chapter 8, Background Images and Other Decorative Properties. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to add a foreground color. So let's change our font color to the color teal. So let's go into our HTML. I'm going to go change this in my main content area. So let me bring up my browser, and this is my example right here. And this is going to be my main content area, and this is where I'm going to add the text. So let me go into my HTML file and add an H1 text. So this is my text right here. Here's my H1 tags, my text, and I'm going to go into my CSS. Here is my, so you can see my H1 main content area. I'll just go ahead and change this right now into the main content area of my CSS, and we'll change the color to teal. And you can see the background color is already the gray, and so we're just adding the color, which will automatically change that to change the text color. So let's save both our HTML and our CSS, and let's bring up our browser, refresh, and then you can see it's changed. Okay, so let's just go ahead and go down the line here, and we'll go ahead and next we'll add color to our background. So we already saw that the background color was a gray, so let's change it to a different color. So let's go into our CSS and our main content area, which is this gray. I'll just change, I'm just going to write this one as yellow. So we'll do a save. And refresh. And there you see that the main area is now changed to yellow. Okay, so let's try adding a background image. And we're going to use this declaration right here, our background dash image colon URL, and this will be our image. Okay, and we're going to add it into our main content area where we've been working. So let's just add it there, background image. And here we're going to want to add the folder that we're adding it to. And if you look in my folder, I have an images folder, and I'm going to be adding the Superman JPEG. Okay, so we'll do images / Superman.jpg. Okay, and then we'll save that and refresh, and you can see it's repeating both X and Y, and we'll kind of look at that here. Okay, so let's make this so it does not repeat. So let us go back into our main content in the CSS, and we'll add our background dash repeat and then no repeat. And let's save that. And there you see it's just defaults on the left corner. Let's see what it looks like if we repeat X. So we'll take off the no, and we'll do a dash X. Oops. Okay, save. Okay, and so it's just going to go across our X coordinate. So This is our X coordinate. We also have our Y coordinate, which goes up and down. So let's change the X to the Y so you can see that. Let's save that. Okay, and there you see it repeats to the on the Y coordinates. Okay, let's look at now positioning the background images. Let's try background position top. So let's add that. Let's change this back to no. And let's see what that does. And so it kind of centers it on the top. And let's change this to, let's try center. Same thing. And so that was what it looks like when it's centered. And let's try right bottom. Sorry. So right bottom. So I don't think there's a dash bottom. Save that. And there you can see it move down here to the right bottom. And the other way I think you can do, let's see, is by, you can change their, I think the X and Y coordinates. So let's try like 50 pixels by 50 pixels. Okay, so there you can kind of see it adds 50. It's almost like adding the padding. Let's try adding 150 here. Okay, so there you can see it added it to the left on that first one. Let's try adding more to the top. So it should move over here and down. There you go. And so you can kind of move it around the board on how many pixels you add to it. So that's one way of positioning your image. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the background size and changing our image to kind of control the size that we want it at. So let's go ahead and add to our CSS the background size declaration, and we'll use we'll say pixels. How about 50 pixels by 50 pixels? And we'll see that shrinks it. And let's say we might want to, let's move it back to our corner. We'll change our position to 0 and 0. Okay. And you can also use percentages instead of pixels on the background size. Let's do maybe 50%. And the first one is width. So we'll try 50% width. And let's try 100% height. So you can see it's 100% width and 50%. I'm sorry, 50% width and 100% width. And let's change this one to 100 and see how that looks. So there you have 100% on both width and height, and it fills the entire div section there. So okay, let's look at changing this to our property to contain, our value to contain. And that, you can see that that is our actual image, but it's filling up as much of the area as it can. And let's change contain to, let's see how it, to cover, and see what that looks like. So there it has the entire image. It's filling the entire area. However, it does get cropped off. And let's say, let's change our position to center. In case you might want something to have it all the correct dimensions, but you still want to see the main focal point. That might be a good use for the cover. Okay, I think that's it on the background size. Okay, so in our CSS we added our image to the background. So now let's go into our HTML and we will add a foreground image in here. So let's go into our HTML, and I'm going to add this to the same area that we've been working in, our main content. And I'm going to add a class tag. So it's image space class equals, and we have our quotation marks, and that's where we're going to add the name that will be pertaining to our selector. And I'm going to call this, in my images folder I have a candy image. Let me see if I can show you that real quick. And it's in the images folder, and right here, candy. So I'm going to call the class name candy. And once again, that was in my images folder. Make sure that's exactly correct. And it's a PNG, candy PNG. We can add an alt tag. That's just in case our candy doesn't show up. It'll show the text. If I write some text here, we can say background image. No, we want this one to be called foreground image. Sorry. Okay, and like I said, this is going to be the name of our selector. So let's go to our CSS. I'll put this underneath our main content area, and since it's a class, we use a period for the class, and we'll call that candy, and we'll add our curly tags. Oops. And I do want to float it left, or yeah, we'll just float it left for now. And let's see, we want to probably give it a width, maybe and a height. Maybe 120 pixels, 120. Do height. Pixels. Okay, let's save that. Let's save that. And see if it shows up. And there it is, right there. So we have our image, and now if we want to control this, where this is going, we can control that with our padding. So let's go into our HTML and we'll add some padding. we'll say, well, maybe, what we'll do, padding left. Maybe 70 pixels. And we'll do, let's try some padding top. Maybe another 70 pixels. Okay, we'll save that. And there we have it. So move 70 pixels from that origin spot. And you know, it started underneath the main content there, since we added it right after the main content H1 tag. And that's a little bit of how to place images.